Brandon Brooks. Dude was a steel wall. Injuries, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so we're going to move on to the second topic. This is fun. This is great. Hit the like button. We appreciate each and every single one of you being here. Thank you very much. Let's see. Thanks for the entertainment, Dan. Thank you for the entertainment. Reyes. Yeah. I actually like the guy. Even though he's dumb as a box of rocks, it's all right. Sills is in a wheelchair roasting the shit out of M. Reyes. What is going on today? There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get this thing rolling here. You know what? I roast this guy enough like he's a peanut in South Carolina. So maybe one day we have to get his ass signed because, again, I can't believe that he actually thinks some of the stupid shit that he believes. Maybe the stupider the person, maybe the dumber you are, maybe the more chances you have of coming on. He's not dumb. He's just a glazer. New school Eagle fan. Yeah, I know he is. Dropping a little. M. Reyes likes the little worm dropped in his mouth. It's the Howie worm. Here's a Howie worm. Here, M. Reyes. Here's a Howie worm. There you go. He's like the little birdies in the nest. Yeah. RC3 too. He's in that bitch. Man. Flexing. Apologize. M. Reyes is from Australia. Oh man. He's from Australia. No. He's from like Ecuador. They call football. Okay. Here's LJ's brother. Fifth string DT acts like he won a Super Bowl as a player, coach and GM. Dude, you're a soft, seriously. Honest to God, dude, you're fucking soft. You and your bullshit. Here's another guy that comes in here and thinks that, look, what do you think you rattled the chain? I know douchebags like you for 35 years, guy. M nuts. It's nasty work. That's okay. M. Reyes numbnuts. What do you, I mean, come on, Marsh. You know better than that. Are you kidding me? Like how dudes are getting personal here. Nothing personal. Strictly business. In honor of Robert Duvall. It's strictly business. Are you kidding me, Forrest? Bring Reyes on. He's not deserved it yet. He's got to do more knee dragging. I don't think he's dragged enough knees yet. When I think he's dragged enough Howie knee and Nick Sirianni knees, then we'll put him on. I don't think he's kissed the ass of the Eagles enough yet. I think he's almost there. So I think he's got to kiss a little more ass. He's pretty good. Hey, listen, believe me, numbnuts will get there. Off topic. Did you ever play those SMU Mustangs? No. I almost played for I played for the coach, Ron Meyer. That was at SMU. All right. So let's go to another fun topic today. By the way, do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. Okay? How many people believe that this is Vic Fangio's final season with the Eagles? How many people believe this is it? Vic Fangio. I do. Nope. Definitely. Kyle? Wow. Even RC3. Gabe? Last hurrah. M. Reyes. I'd say it's 85-15, the final go. He's getting up there in age and has already made it evident. Okay? By that, Hard to believe, actually, there's a decent take from this guy. Okay? It depends on the season. I think if he wins and they win a Super Bowl, don't you think 32, he'd call it a career? Okay, right? All right. So when Vic Fangio retires and leaves Philly, does the Eagle defense collapse again? Yes or no? Does it collapse again like it did in 23? If he's not here? With all the money you've put on that side of the ball, or money that you're going to put on that side of the ball, you don't believe that Vic Fangio is responsible. Would you not agree that in the last 10 years, how about this one? Is Vic Fangio better than Jim Schwartz as a defensive coordinator? No. So you're going to go and do what? Okay, it's not going to implode. Okay? So you think that you're going to hire a plug-and-play defensive coordinator to replace Vic Fangio? And you're going to just plug in another guy? Like you plug in your... Who's making that hire? Nick? How's that gone with coordinators? Hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss. You're going to do that again with Nick on defense? Hit, miss, hit, miss. You tell me, what gives you that confidence when they've changed out all these offensive coordinators that you're all of a sudden going to be, what, finding another guy? That you're going to find another guy? Is it, really? Do you guys believe you're going to find another guy? Are you going to find another dude? Can't hit them all? That's my point. Hart, that's my point. You're missing the point. You're missing the point. Prince, Vic is clearly the better coach. So, Prince, my point is, who's going to make these hires when Vic leaves? Nick? Hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss. You're going to be on that seesaw again, this time on defense. Who's going to make those hires? Nick Sirianni? Let's do this and give Nick Sirianni some kudos here. There's been some success. There's been failure at the coordinator position, right? It's hit or miss. Vic Fangio is a hit. It's a grand slam. He's one of the best hires you've ever had. You can make the argument that Vic Fangio is as good of a coordinator. How about this? I'll make this proclamation to you. Vic Fangio is a better defensive coordinator than Jim Johnson. Is he not? He's more accomplished. In Vic Fangio's time as defensive coordinator, he's already more accomplished than Jim Johnson. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won one. He's had the number 1 defense in the NFL. As a matter of fact, no, he's not. Okay, well, what did Jim Johnson do that Vic Fangio hasn't done? Or better yet, what has Jim Johnson done that Vic Fangio hasn't done? No way. Okay. What has he done? Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at Jim Johnson's accomplishments. Jim Johnson, D coordinator. Jim Johnson, defensive coordinator. Let's take a look at what he's done. God rest his soul. Let's see here. Accomplishments. Okay. Let's see here. 1999 to 2008 with the Philadelphia Eagles was renowned defensive mastermind known for aggressive blitzing. Okay. Let's see. 5 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl appearance. Elite rankings, ranked second in the NFL in sacks, second in down efficiency, fourth fewest points in 2000 and 2003. Led the NFL in turnovers. Pro Bowl talent of Brian Dawkins, Troy Vincent, Jeremiah Trotter, and Hugh Douglas. Guided the defense to 7 playoff appearances, 5 NFC championships, and a Super Bowl appearance. Okay. Vic Fangio, in his time, has guided the football team to 2 NFC championships in 3 years and has a record. Let me see here. 14-3. Had another one of 11-6. Excuse me. Let's see here. 14-3 and 11-6. He's 25-9. And Vic Fangio's got an NFC championship and a Super Bowl. And the number 1 ranked defense, which Jim Johnson's never done. Okay? Fangio does not have 2 NFC. You're right. My bad. The 2022 was Jonathan Gannon. 1 Super Bowl. Thank you, Prince. Okay? Jim Johnson unleashed Weapon X on the league. Vic Fangio won a Super Bowl. And that's a good take because Vic was the consultant to the football team in 22. They wanted him as DC in 23, but the Dolphins got to him soon. That's correct. Actually, Forrest, he wasn't the pseudo DC, but he got an NFC championship ring because he was on the staff. You're right. By the way, also, hey, Ramen, what else did Jim Johnson have the benefit of? Do you know? Howie Roseman ripping a number 1 defense apart. And free agency had just started. I think free agency started in 94. Vic didn't go to the Super Bowl with San Francisco. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the 1 in 22 with the Eagles. Not sure if you watched the Micah podcast with AJ. He talked about almost an Eagle, but found out Carter would be traded for him. Only way he wasn't to be an Eagle was to play with Carter. Telling on JC. I don't know if I buy all that. I think it had more to do with Jerry Jones not wanting to trade inside the division, and he didn't want to see Parsons banging on his quarterback. He didn't want to see Dak Prescott getting nailed and getting crushed in the pocket by Micah Parsons twice a year. Okay? I don't know. Maybe there's some truth to it. Kim, I'm not saying. I've heard a lot of people tell me that. But Carter in a 1 and a 3 for him, man, that's a ton. I'm not sure. I could see Carter in a 3 for Parsons, or Carter in a 1, but a 3 also. Man, that's a little rich. Seals, Clint Hurt or Bobby King? Who do you replace with Vic? this is going to sound crazy. I'm going against my guy. I think Bobby King would be the better coordinator. Can I tell you why? Guys, why do you think Bobby King would be a better replacement at coordinator? And I love Clint Hurt. And I think Clint would do a great job. But why do you think I would pick Bobby King to be the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles? Why would I pick him? By the way, I know Bobby King. He was a linebacker coach in San Diego. And by the way, not Hurt season. What's Vic's forte? He was a linebacker coach. That's funny because Mark loves nailing Dak. I knew you'd pick that up. Thank you, Marsh. I could see Marsh chuckling now. Hit the like button, guys. I appreciate it. Which is important in Vic's scheme? Linebackers. Correct. I'm not sure if Bobby King was a coordinator in the past. I'm not sure that. I thought he was outstanding in San Diego with the Chargers. Bobby King. I don't think so. He's really a great coach. Zach Bond, Kobe Dean. Before that, he was the inside linebackers coach in Tennessee. Oversaw the linebacking room, Tennessee. Paced the league in both rushing defense at 76-9. That's when that defense was top 3. Prior to that, played a pivotal role in the Texans' growth. Served as the Texans' inside linebacking coach. Here's where I saw him. 14-16 was an assistant coach in San Diego, where he worked alongside with Nick Sirianni during the 2015 season. Melvin Ingram had a great double-digit sack year that year and tied for 13th in sacks. He's a really good coach. Yes, and for the year, T.O. played. He went to the Super Bowl. The next year, he got benched. Isn't it funny we were so shit at LB until Vic came around? Now it's one of our biggest strengths. Hey, Gabe, I don't think it's just Vic. I think it's Vic and Bobby King. D'Amico Ryans, too. That's right. He coached him. That's correct. I think Bobby King would get a shot at that and being the D coordinator. They might give it to Clint first because Clint's got experience in play calling. But I'd be good with Bobby King, man. 2024, they explored hiring Ron Rivera, Wink Martindale, Ryan Nielsen, Leslie Frazier, Jim Leonard, Jesse Minter, and also, too, don't forget, too, Forrest, the defensive coordinator for the Georgia Bulldogs. They also put in that conversation. So, again, Vic Fangio leaves next year. How about this? I can't wait to see how this offensive line looks. I will tell you. I can't wait to see how this O-line looks. Because if that offensive line doesn't come back to form, Eagles are toast for the next 3 years. Your window's shut. And your quarterback is not going to get any better. The key to the 2026 season is your O-line. It's not Hurts. It's not the style of play. It's the O-line. If that offensive line does not play and get back to decent, you're going nowhere. And your window's closed. If they bounce back, window's back open again. It's going to be depending on how high But this whole thing comes down this offseason to your offensive line. Everything comes down to the O-line. The defense will be impacted. If you lead the NFL again for another year and 3 and outs, and you're one of the worst teams in 3 and outs, you think that defense is going to hold up again? Fell apart at the end of the year. And it fell apart in the playoffs. Eagles offensive line being held together by stem cells. Yeah, that's not a good take. Jim Johnson had 6 top 5 defenses in points allowed. Fangio had 4 in 25 years. Rasputin, who do you think's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Vic Fangio or Jim Johnson? Jim Johnson's not going to the Hall of Fame. He's not going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's not. Okay? He's not. Steve Spagnuolo's going to the Hall of Fame. 4 rings. Okay, yeah. Well, I can promise you he's not. See, if they come out of training camp still trying to have Jalen run the West Coast offense, we're screwed. Fix our third down issues from 25% back to 30%, and we'll be fine. 30% on third down? Okay. Cam Jurgens is in Columbia getting his run. He's not getting his backs fixed. I like it, Prince. Vic's latest ring really cemented his legacy. Yeah, it did. That's what a ring will do. I'm not telling you Jim Johnson what. Jim Johnson's a great coordinator. He ain't Buddy Ryan. Shit, Jim Schwartz. Hey, Jim Schwartz has got a ring. Jim Schwartz had the number 1 defense in Cleveland. The dude had the number 1. Jim Schwartz is a fucking hell of a coordinator. I would put Jim Schwartz ahead of Jim Johnson. Jim Schwartz got a Super Bowl ring, number 1 defense in Cleveland, and he's done this all in the last 8 years. And he's doing it in the era of free agency. You guys are missing it. I mean, you're missing the boat here on that. I mean, there's no doubt. BS Cam is, dude, I got to tell you, I will say it one more time. I think he's in trouble. All right. So they're debating this in New York right now. And I want to throw this at you here. Boomer Esiason gave me this. Kayvon Thibodeau for A.J. Brown. Let's take a look at Kayvon Thibodeau. Straight up. Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau. Let's see what he's got here. For A.J. Brown, straight up. This is a WFAN beauty. Last year, he only played 10 games. Prior to that, so he's got 23 and a half sacks in 4 years. Finished 4th in the Rookie of the Year award. And he's 25 years of age. And they're most likely going to move him because of Abdul Carter. Kayvon Thibodeau. Malik Neighbors and A.J. Brown. I'm sorry, I'm not on Jackson Dart. I don't give a shit if you have Jerry Rice and Chris Carter. As long as Jackson Dart's the quarterback, I don't know. A.J. Brown could go to the New York Giants. They don't have an offensive line. The quarterback's going to be running for his life. Okay? Prince, I'm believing he's gone. I'm talking Brown. As a matter of fact, I think many of the deals are on the table right now for Howie. And they got to decide what they're going to do. I do think the money's an issue, but I think they can work around it. If AJ wants out enough, he'll restructure his contract before. It'll be a restructure and then move. If he wants out, he's got to help the Eagles. If he wants to go to New England, I'll tell you what I would do. If I was Howie Roseman, this is how I would move A.J. Brown. AJ, tell you what you have to do. You want to leave that bad, and you don't want to be here anymore. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Where do you want to go? I want to go to New England. I maybe want to go to Seattle. Maybe the Chargers with Justin Herbert. I want maybe Kansas City. Maybe Buffalo. All cool. You want to go to a winner. All right. Well, here's the problem with that. We're not going to get a gigantic draft choice back in return. Because all those teams you mentioned are winners. You're talking about the 32nd player taken in the second round, maybe. The 32nd player of the third round. Man, that's not helping us. So, what we're going to do is this. You got to restructure your contract. You've got to do and help us redo this deal before we move you. It'll be easier for us to move. You can't do this. I want to go here, here, and here, and then look at Howie and go, first off, does that make my team better moving him? Maybe in the long run and in the macro, it does because you're getting rid of a malcontent. And he doesn't want to be here. Think about this, guys. How do you make this deal move? Here, let me show you this. Somebody sent me this. Sure. NFL contract before trade. Okay, so here's how it has to work. I do this because people send me emails because I asked the question, can you restructure a contract before a trade? Okay? And this is how it works. NFL contracts can be restructured before a trade to facilitate a move, typically by converting base salary into signing bonus to reduce the team's cap hit or lower immediate cash burden on the acquiring team. This requires the player's consent and often involves extending the contract or adding void years. Did you hear me? Here's the mechanisms now for it. Key details regarding pre-trade restructures. Teams convert base or roster bonuses into signing bonuses, which is then prorated over the remaining years of the contract, which means this, however years that AJ has remaining, you could take that money that you were going to give him in a signing bonus and spread it out over 5 years. That's over the new CBA. So if you restructure the contract and say that number comes up to $35 million, well, you could do that over 5. And it's a less of a cap hit spread out. That's the new CBA. So when people were saying, you can't do this, yes, you can. People are held up on the money. I'm showing you how you can get around it. People are not telling you the entire facts. The contract makes it harder. No, it doesn't. If the player wants, now, this is all under the premise that Brown wants out. Okay? Hold on. This isn't me teaching you. This is the NFL Players Association sending me. Okay? You don't have to be an Einstein, Twiz. You just have to listen to what this is from the NFLPA. I'll say it again. This is not cap. By the way, dude, I know how this fucking works. NFL contracts can be restructured before a trade to facilitate the move, typically by converting base salary into a signing bonus to reduce the current team's cap hit. By the way, this is also from Drew Rosenhaus. Here are the mechanisms. Teams convert base or roster bonus into signing bonus, which is then prorated over the remaining years of the contract. Okay. You can add void years in a restructure, add 2 more void years to the current deal he has. Take the signing bonus that you converted, spread it out over that 5. Simple as that. So don't tell me you can't redo it. Players consent. A restructure is renegotiated requiring the player's agreement. Trade benefits. This maneuver can reduce a player's salary cap charge, making them more attractive to potential trading partners, as seen with the Eagles' use of option bonuses. This is what Drew sent me. Trade benefits. This maneuver can reduce a player's salary cap charge, making them more attractive to potential trading partners, as seen with the Eagles' use of option bonuses. Timing. While structures often happen in the offseason, they can be done prior to a trade to make the numbers work for both parties. Don't think right now both parties or 3 parties, the player and his agent and a team and multiple teams, are not negotiating this. How do we make this happen with the money? Okay? This can be done. I had people actually texting me and telling me this can't be done. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. You sound like Twiz. Okay? Hey, by the way, here's another one by Twiz. You want to be so right. It's only been 3 years for this. I'm not the only one saying they want to move him. And then he's going to be moved. They're going to move him. You think he's retiring an Eagle? You got your head up your ass, guy. You got your head up your ass. Alternative. Teams may also simply trade a player with the new team taking on the remaining contract, including future non-guaranteed base salaries. That they're not going to do. So I just showed you. This is without a doubt possible. Okay? Gunner said he ain't going anywhere. Gunner? Who's that? I forgot. Who's that guy again? AJ said he was going to retire an Eagle when he signed the new contract extension. But I call Cap. I hear you too. Only trade him outside the conference. Okay? New England, Kansas City, Chargers, New England, how about this? Jacksonville, too. Put him on the other side of Thomas, down there for Trevor Lawrence. How about trading him to Miami? And trading him down to Miami, they were not a playoff team. They just got rid of Tyreek Hill. Now, they're taking a shitload of money on. Okay? Well, I disagree. Okay? I disagree because I'm hearing his agent talking. I'll tell you what. Martez, we'll find out who's right here in about a month. Okay? Him or me. I also read that. It says they prefer not to move him. It didn't say he wasn't. He said he'd prefer not to move him. Is the grass greener elsewhere for AJ? Depending on what you think his goals are. If A.J. Brown's goals are to make a ton of money and get a ton of numbers, it's absolutely worth it. Let me ask you something, Gabe. Here. Do you want to be Julian Edelman or Randy Moss? Gabe, do you want to be Julian Edelman or Randy Moss? Okay. Randy Moss doesn't have a Super Bowl. Julian Edelman has 3. And he has an MVP in the Super Bowl. I think AJ wants to be Randy Moss with a ring. Edelman doesn't have an NFL legacy that says he's one of the greatest players of all time. Edelman's not one of the greatest players of all time, and he's got an MVP. Is it Edelman or Amendola that's got the MVP? Julian Edelman. Is it him? I think it's him, right? He's got the MVP, right? Yeah. Julian Edelman's got 3 Super Bowl rings and a Super Bowl MVP. He's not one of the greatest players in the history of the sport. AJ wants to go down as one of the greatest players in the history of the sport. Edelman will never. So I would be interested for trading for Thibodeau. This could be your D-line the next 3. Dude, that's what I'm saying. Kyle, look at that D-line. Davis, Carter, Thibodeau, Hunt. And Nolan Smith as your rotation specialty pass rusher. That looks awful good. I mean, that looks phenomenal. I'm with you. WFAN was throwing that around this morning. Kayvon Thibodeau straight up for AJ. I mean, I don't think that's bad. If Gary Anderson didn't miss his first field goal of the year in 97, Moss would probably have one. Is that when he was with the Vikings? When they got beat by the Falcons in the NFC title game? Rasputin, was that right? I think they were like 15-1, and they got beat by that Atlanta team. Oh, the Randall year. Yeah, but I think that was the 15-1 year, and they got beat by Atlanta and Dan Reeves' team in the NFC Championship game. Stop hating on. I'm not hating on anybody. All I said is, who are they? I'm not hating on anybody. Dude, honestly, I know just about everybody. Before I got here, I'd never heard of Derek Gunn. So Edelman maximizes his potential working with Brady. AJ will never maximize his potential playing with Hurts. Correct, Bob. Correct. Dude, I really have no idea. I think I had him on the show twice. Other than that, I have no idea who he is. He's just some dude that started a podcast or something like that with his cat. I really don't know. I thought it was, and I was helping the kid out. Other than that, I really don't give a shit. Another dude in my 35 years of broadcasting. Sure. Okay. Okay. I hating on anybody. Paying 2 top DTs, 1 edge, and 2 DBs top dollar isn't sustainable. Why? You do that stuff on the other side. On offense, you're paying 2 offensive tackles north of $25 million. You're paying a guard 20. You're paying a center 20. You're paying a running back 20. You're paying a quarterback 50. Hollywood, you think that's sustainable? Dan Sileo, absolutely incredible. What an amazing show. Thank you very much. Your $20 is in the mail. Xander, get it to him. And Tibbs has potential. He's not a proven guy just like Hunt, not trading a proven commodity. Hey, Twiz, you're under the impression he wants to be here. How he always pays the trenches. That's what we've been so consistently good in the last 20 years. That's why my question to you about Stoutland. So when Stoutland now out of the building, you think your offensive line is going to maintain that same excellence? Brady, you think your old line's going to maintain that excellence? What a gamble. You know, it wouldn't shock me if this thing goes south, they rehire. You know what I would do if I was the new coach and Nick gets blown out? I'd beg Stoutland to come back. Let him take the year off. I'd bring his ass back, give him a pay raise. That'd be my first hire. Hey, Jeff Stoutland, you want to come back? I'd love to have you. Yeah, all the kids are out of the building now. Shows Howie has no issue trading inside the division. So let me ask you this, Bob. Didn't Howie trade on draft day with the Dallas Cowboys? Cowboys ended up getting Micah Parsons, and the Eagles got Devontae Smith. Didn't that happen between the Cowboys and the Eagles? Am I right to say that's how that happened? Right? Why? Wow. You're not trading AJ, even though the guy doesn't want to be here. I mean, I heard John McMullen say one of the coolest things this morning, or maybe it was yesterday. I want volunteers. Okay? I want volunteers to be on my team. I want guys who want to be here. I don't want to have guys that are compelled to be here because of whatever reason. That's not productive. I get this. How about here? How many people believe that A.J. Brown wants to be here? How many people believe that? When he's complained for 3 years about the offense. How many people believe he wants to be here? AJ wants to be as far away from Hurts as possible. He can go. That's what we're doing here. I showed you. Folks, don't get caught up in the money. That stuff can be worked out. You know, I contacted Rosenhaus and I contacted the NFL Players Association. Can you restructure a deal before a trade? Because I wasn't sure about that yesterday. Because I said that out loud. I said, absolutely. That's probably what they're talking about now. How about this one here? Do you think that Howie Roseman right now is taking calls as he prepares for the combines from other teams about A.J. Brown? Do you think they're taking calls right now? Sills, is it true that the Packers are trying for Pickens? I would say this to you. Remember something. Pickens is a free agent. Okay? And as far as I'm concerned, have the Cowboys put that tag on him yet? How long is it do they have to put that? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 2 weeks they have to decide? Okay, I think it's like, what is it, 10 days maybe? They have to put that tag on somebody? I don't think they have the assets. How many assets did they give away for the trade with Micah Parsons, though. I think you have 10 days to make that move. AJ to the Colts on the other side of Pittman. It's out of the division, out of the conference. Boy, I'll tell you, man, that make the Colts. The Colts were 6-1. They were. But what would you get back in a trade? Well, the Colts didn't make the playoffs, so you'd get a pretty sustainable pick. I think you get like a 12 or 13. That's not terrible. Seals, AJ would love to be here if we had Darnold or Mayfield at quarterback. AJ would love to be anywhere he's utilized and not as a decoy. Correct. That's why he wants out. He wants to feel engaged. Now, see, this makes sense. Let me also look at something else. Space 20 right now. Okay, NFL caps. Okay, here right now. Wow, the Titans only have $5 million in dead cap. The Eagles right now have $48 million in dead cap money. You have $50 million. Only way Browns moved is a restructure. You would take on another $40 million. The Eagles it'd be a $90 million cap hit that they would have in dead cap money. Here's the dead money. Raiders have 34. The Jets have 91 million. That's the Rodgers thing. The Eagles have 48 million. The Dolphins have 73. That's Tua. Saints are still in holy hell with 65 million. Sorry, Ash Wednesday. The Bills have 30. Excuse me. The Jags have 43. These are all, get this, these are all teams underwater right now in cap space. The Giants, the Browns, the Dolphins, the Packers, the Texans, the Bears, the Saints, the Lions, the Chiefs. Now, they just did $44 million. It created cap space of $44 million. They restructured Mahomes' deal. Right now, effectively cap space. The Titans have 103, Raiders 91, Chargers have 82. If A.J. Brown's going to be dealt anywhere, my bet would be the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the Patriots have 40 right now in cap space. They could clearly fit him in. But the key would be, because the Eagles have 48 million. Right now, the Eagles have $13 million in cap space. They have 18 in total cap space, but effective cap space, which maneuvering cap space, is 13 million. Okay? So you get 13 million. How many players? 61 players. That's what that number represents. 49ers have numbers. They can move 40. Can you imagine A.J. Brown in San Francisco? Let me throw another guy at you as well. If you lose A.J. Brown and you're able to restructure, would you be open to having Mike Evans? Mike Evans still got some ball in him. And he told everyone this morning, I don't believe he's going back to Tampa Bay. I don't believe Evans is going back to Tampa. Okay? Mike played in 8 games, still had 30 catches for 368. He was out a ton of the time. One of the only times that Mike Evans has really been hurt was this last year. And it wasn't a knee, it was a shoulder. He gets hurt. Okay. This is what Sue says about a guy getting hurt. He gets hurt. That Mike Evans gets hurt. Okay. Mike Evans. Let's take a look at that theory that Sue has. So Mike Evans, 15 games. Let's go back to the beginning. Mike Evans, 15 games and 14. 15 games and 15. 16 games and 16. 15 games and 17. 16 games and 18. 13 games and 19. 16 games and 20. 16 games and 21. 16 games and 22. 17 games and 23. 15 games and 24. Last year, he missed 9. This guy never gets hurt. He never gets hurt. Very rarely. And here's the years. 11 consecutive seasons of 1,000 yards. 108 catches. He's 32 years old. 29, 30, 31. He's 3 years older than A.J. Brown. Mike Evans. Devontae Smith. Keep Goddard. And Saquon Barkley. How's that sound? You want to see young player development with that quarterback? You would take Dobbs, kid from the Packers. You think Dobbs is in the league? I still think that Mike Evans could be a 1,200-yard reception guy. Dolphins, Tyreek Hill release results. $28.2 million cap hit on the Dolphins in 26, but saved 22 in cap space. They're gonna probably have Forrest, did they post that June 1? They still got to carry that number, which means they're not going to get the draft, which means it's a release, so they got to carry that number to June. It's going to make it difficult for them to play free agency. See, Dobbs, I think Dobbs is okay. Mike Evans is a star. Evans would be having an off-field wide receiver coach who would help the young wide. Let me ask you this. That's a great take. Mike Evans is a spectacular teammate. I think you're right. I think Devontae Smith would benefit more from Mike Evans teaching. By the way, Mike Evans is a better ball player than A.J. Brown. Mike Evans is the modern day Larry Fitzgerald. Whatever you think of Larry Fitzgerald, I still think he's got. Hey, how about this? Let me show you something here. You say he's long in the tooth. Okay. I want to show you something. Here's Mike Evans. So Evans he did get hurt. Okay. First time he really got hurt. So let me go back here. Let me go games. And let me go what he did this past season here. Game splits. Game log. So when he came back, after he got hurt, the first game that he came back, he had 132 yards and 12 catches. Okay? And they fell apart offensively. After that, the play caller, everything, which was Josh Grizzard, by the way. By the way, add that. Josh Grizzard loves Mike Evans. Who's your pass game coordinator? This is why we're bringing it up. Okay? Who's your pass game coordinator? Is it Josh Grizzard? So if you lose AJ, you put Evans in there, Grizzard, the pass game coordinator, he's worked with him. Mike Evans gives you a solid vet presence himself. Tremendous teammate. I think he's got football left. I think also, too, he could help Devontae Smith and what Josh Grizzard and what the offense wants to try to instill in this passing game. By the way, him coming to Philly, I think Jalen Hurts would fall in love with Mike Evans. So, like, let's see. They do play in a shitload of domes in the NFC South. I'm not going to tell you you're a lie. Atlanta, New Orleans. Only place he plays outside in the South is Carolina, and it's true. Julio Jones, he's not Julio Jones. What I do like about this, Evans, he's a very situational wide receiver. By the way, you can move him anywhere around the line of scrimmage. He's not just positioned to a Y. You can move him everywhere. You can move him all around. Okay? Seals of Hurts can get the ball to AJ. What makes you think, if he can't get the ball to AJ, what makes you think he can get the ball to Evans? I still think you need a presence out there, Bob. AJ's presence, okay, helps the run game. Mike Evans' presence helps the run game. If you put another dude out there, it's like your third wideout. I don't care about him. You think the defensive coordinators care about the Eagles' number 3 wideout? They barely care about the tight end. That's why the tight end's opened a lot. Nobody gives a shit about him. Evans won't complain about targets because he's already solidified. Mike Evans already has, get this, Mike Evans already has 866 catches in his career and over 13,000 receiving yards and over 100 touchdowns. You think that guy's complaining about anything? He's not complaining about anything. Plus, if you restructure the contract, you could sign Evans for $15 million. Johnny Wilson would benefit. The whole entire wide receiving core would benefit. Yeah. Mike Evans were to retire today. He's the first ballot. Evans would just want another ring before. That's what he's looking for. Wow. And Reyes even likes it. And by the way, you could take that money that you restructure with AJ, take that money and sign Jalen Phillips with it. Now, AJ wants to leave. If AJ Brown wants to leave, you give the Eagles room to maneuver in signing Carter and Phillips and a guy like Evans. And you get better all around by signing 3 players that are instrumental. Here, I got another topic here. Before Xander comes aboard with us, Battle Royale 430. You think Howie makes another big move? You think he makes a big move in free agency or a trade? Free agency or a trade? Mike Evans would be a big move. Trade would be AJ. Free agency would be Evans. 15 to 17 million. Restructure that $30 million deal. Take the other 15 and drop some dough on it and pay your boy Carter or Jalen Phillips. Okay? Let's say you sign Evans this year. and you could focus mainly on overhauling your old line, then get your wideout next year. Absolutely. He's a gap. That's exactly correct, Kyle. You're not looking at signing Mike Evans to a 2-year contract at $40 million. You're going to sign him on a 1-year deal at about 20 with incentives. And you take that money. Again, this is all on AJ restructuring the move. If he wants out that bad. This is not catastrophic if AJ moves. I put Mike Evans in there. He's a stopgap for me to get to the draft next year. I could take that money, get Phillips signed, or I could use it for Carter or Davis. Or use some of that money for Dean. Jalen Phillips doesn't want to sign. Great. I'll take the money I'm saving with AJ, and I'll give it to Bradley Chubb. Okay? Either way, I'm good. They got a lot. A.J. Brown, you're right. A.J. not on the team. Does he make you worse? I think it depends on what you do. I said this before about the Micah Parsons Cowboy deal. I think the Cowboys are better today. I think they're better. Quinnen Williams is a tremendous football player. They got Clark in the middle. They stopped the bleeding in the run defense. They got to go in the draft to get another edge. Get him at a rookie deal. Okay. Maybe they sign Crosby. So how about this? You put Crosby and you put Quinnen Williams on the same D-line. The Cowboys are in business. They're in business. Remember something. You guys don't think the Cowboys are close. I think they're 2 players close. Here's why. Cowboys had the number 1 offense in pro football. They're going to tag Pickens. Okay? If they get that defense in 15th instead of 30th or 32nd, wherever they finished, if they're 15th, Cowboys are going to the playoffs. And they're going to be a contender. They had the best offense in pro football and the worst defense in pro football. And now listen, I'm not debating Dak in the postseason. I'm just telling you as a unit, they're better without Parsons. It's like telling me, well, the Giants are better without Barkley. Some of you actually think that, okay? Well, Dallas beat you, came back from 21 down. It's not the point. It's not the point. Brian Schottenheimer, he's all right, man. He's done a pretty good job. I think so, too. I think he's a good play caller. I do. I think Dak looked as good as he's looked probably in 4 years, 3 years. I agree. Seals, could they just want it to be moved around like CeeDee Lamb? That's not what he does, though, Martin. Martin, if you look at his pre-draft scouting report, it's really followed him almost to a T. Like, he doesn't do, like, they tried to use him in the slot, but they put DK Metcalf in the slot at Ole Miss. Metcalf was the guy that they moved around. AJ was the guy who was not moved around as much. I can't believe they had those 2 dudes on the team at the same time. And they didn't win an SEC championship. Now, those Bama and Georgia teams were special. They were special on both sides of the ball. Okay? Purdy owns your dual threat. I think Brock Purdy's a hell of a player in the pocket. I actually like the quarterback. He just gets hurt and he's kind of small. So how many Super Bowls has Purdy won? How many All-Pros or Pro Bowls? I know this. He's 2-1 against the Eagles, I believe. Is he? Let's see, 1, 2. He's 2-1 versus you. Same as Justin Herbert. You guys keep telling me about how you're like Nick Sirianni has like this winning record against Sean McVay. Brock Purdy has a winning record versus the Eagles too. And so does Justin Herbert. I don't really think that means shit either. Okay? Seals, the more I think about this AJ situation, the more I want him in Philly. If he doesn't want to be here because he plays like he didn't want to be here at the end of the season, Mike, I don't. But you know what I tell you what I think he's doing now? Okay? It's pretty smart. And he gets it. Did you see that thing he did on his social medias? Making sure that when he was trying to sell his football camp, he was in an Eagle uniform. He goes on a podcast saying he wants to be in Philly. Why would he do that? Why would he? He's looking to make sure that the Eagles told him, if you want to be traded and you really want out of here, don't diminish your trade value by doing something stupid. Because the minute you do something stupid, we're not going to be apt to do what you want. We're going to do what's in the best. They're going to do what's in the best interest of the Eagles. A.J. Brown has been a great Eagle. And you owe him, if he does it right, you owe him a chance to land someplace cool. However, he starts being a dick. Dude, I'll put your ass in Cleveland. And not think about it. Drew, and get this. Agents know this. Don't be a jackass right now. Don't diminish your value. If you're a guy that's going to be dealt and you really want out, he's got to be cool and he's got to also have a public perception. Everything's dope. I don't know what's going on. Hey, haven't you learned anything about the Nick Castellanos deal? Don't believe any of these people who are reporting on your teams. They don't do their jobs. How in the world could you ever believe anything out of Philadelphia media ever again? Honest to God. Anybody who covers those teams, I think it was an indictment on the Philadelphia media. You knew that the guy was drinking beers and shit in the dugout, and you waited till after the fact because the Phillies told you not to report on it? That shit goes on with the Eagles too. I don't believe anything in the Philadelphia media. Any of those radio stations, they're not telling you the truth. You think they're telling you the truth? You know how many people believe those places? I wouldn't believe a word they said. How in God's name would you believe WIP? You hear what Angelo, he texted me last night. He goes, this is the bigger story than you think. Those people aren't doing their jobs anymore. By the way, to Xander's point, fuck Nick Castellanos. Agreed. That's not my point. My point is do your job. They don't do it. You know why? These professional teams, they got you by the short hairs. That's what they got you by. Hey, you want to come into the building? Make sure you report on what we tell you. All right. I'll tell you, it is convention time for the Philadelphia Eagles and for the NFL teams. So let me show you something here before you bring Xander in. Yesterday, Derek Gilmore, the agent of Mike Evans, went out publicly and said Mike Evans is returning for the 2026 season. What was missing and why did he do that? Anybody know? I'll tell you. We're open for business. We're going to the combines. We're going to the highest bidder. We're going to the team that gives us the best opportunity to win a Super Bowl. Because if he and Jason Light had agreed, here's what I'm being told. Jason Light and Derek Gilmore, the agent, met prior to that statement being released. You know what the Bucs told them? We're not there. We are not there. Okay? I can't tell you, Z. I'll get you up here in a sec. So, how about this? As they get ready to go to the combines in Indianapolis, Mike Evans's people are saying this: we're open for business. Who wants us? Because if the Buccaneers had made that decision, you would have saw this yesterday. We're proud to announce in 2027, Mike Evans is coming back and he's playing for the Bucs. That's not what was said. That was omitted. Why? Because the Buccaneers and the Glazers said, no, we got other holes. Okay? They got other holes. They got to fix that defense. They're not a Super Bowl contending team. All right? So the Bucs told Mike Evans, Sills, the 49ers couldn't keep Bosa, Armstead, and Buckner together. So the Eagles are different? Yeah, you know why? Because the Eagles do a better job of managing their cap. Sills, we haven't had as many coaching changes as other teams. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to his point, they've changed 12 coaches. 12 coaches. Okay? So you changed your offense and you lost Christian Parker to the Cowboys. That's a tough hit. But in many ways, he's right. Baltimore changed their entire staff and head coach. Buffalo changed their entire staff and head coach. There's been like a ton of coordinating changes defensively and offensively. My take would be this, though, that the football team that's had the most success over the last 4 years has been the Philadelphia Eagles. For them to change their coaching staff and offensive coaching staff the way they did, I think that is a pretty big change. For being 50-18, winning 11 games, back-to-back NFC East champions, you change the coaching staff. All right. That looks way better, Z. All right. A lot of news. And we're going to start it out here with this. Okay. So, yeah, I want to go here. So how confident are you in this offseason here with Nick? And I want to get to some of these topics here. I'm going to bring Z in here in a second here and say this. Jeff Stoutland's departure, what impact will it have on future offensive lines as we move forward, in your opinion? Without further